Hey guys, it's Vertus here, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for 100 subscribers. Keep the positive feedback coming, and I love to read your comments as well, so keep those coming as well. Now, this is going to be a very in-depth review of the M48 Patton. I have 3 gameplays here for you. The first one is going to be really good, well played, and some good damage as well, and the last 2 are going to be extremely hard and huge heartbreakers because, well, probably bad teams as well as personal mistakes. So, and I'll be pointing those out as well. But let's talk about the tank first and its stats. Now, its main competitor is going to be the FE4202, as they do have very similar playstyles. Both tanks have really good gun depression, and they are not the fastest of the bunch. Now, however, they do differ. Now, the main differences are that the Patton has a pretty trollless turret, and the mantlet is quite huge. And the cheeks and the edges of the turret are very bouncy. So if you do wiggle this turret like this, it makes it very hard for people to hit that big cupola that is your weak spot. Now, the FE4202 has a paper of a turret. Only really the roof part of it is able to bounce some shots. But the FE has a very good hull. It's got 120 millimeters, and it is angled extremely well. Now, on the Patton, it is only the 4 corners of the hull that are a little bit bouncy. And if you wiggle it, and if you angle it like that, if the E100 or something like that hits your upper plate with AP, you can actually bounce some shots with this. But don't count on the hull armor of the Patton. But overall, the armor of the Patton is better than the FE4202. The tracks are also very fat and big on the Patton, so it does make for some pretty good side scraping capabilities. Now, let's take a look at the other stats. Now, one of the main strengths, actually, I think, in my opinion, the biggest strength of the Patton is its view range. It is 270 meters, and it is the best in the game. Now, what that means is, well, you really do have to take advantage of this view range in order to play this tank to its strengths. Now, its speed is 45 kilometers. That is better than the FE's 440, but the FE's power to weight ratio is a lot better than the Patton, which means the acceleration of this tank is a little bit sluggish. It's not as bad as the E50M, but it is pretty slow. However, it is pretty maneuverable at 50 degrees per second traverse speed, and its turret turns decently fast at 40. Now, that is the exact same as the FE4202. However, with more engine power, the FE does feel a little more maneuverable. Now, let's take a look at this gun. In my opinion, the FE's gun is a little bit better. It fires faster, it's more accurate, and the aim time is the same. Now, the Patton's accuracy is 0.36, which means this definitely is not a sniper. However, you can play this tank at mid-ranges, and you will be able to hit some weak spots. However, at long ranges, this gun becomes so inaccurate that you will have trouble just hitting your targets. This tank is pretty heavy. It is 48 tons as opposed to most medium tanks, which is around 40. Now, a nickname for this Patton is the Fatton, as it is actually bigger than the T110E5, which is its, I guess, cousin. It's the Tier 10 American heavy tank. Now, I really do love the Patton. I free XP to the top 105, so I haven't played it with the stock 105, but from what I've heard, it's pretty terrible. So if you have the free XP, it's not that much. I think it's only 45k. I would free XP it. Now, for my equipment, I use rammer, which is standard for pretty much all tanks. Vert stabs, which is for firing on the move, as well as optics. Now, I want to maximize my view range, as this tank does have the best view range in the game. Now, for consumables, I have adrenaline, multi-kit, and repair kit. Now, what I've noticed with this tank is that the driver dies a hell of a lot, so I do keep this multi-kit available whenever he does die or get hit. Now, I think that is all for the tank, and let's get into the game. So, I'm playing with Batty Melt here in his FE4202, and I am, of course, driving the M48 Patton. Now, in my opinion, this is one of my better played games in the Patton, and I think I really maximize the scouting capabilities of the Patton. Now, here I am spawned in the southern spawn, and looking at the team lists, they have mostly heavies and TDs and things with a lot of armor. So I don't want to go left, as that is a bit of a choke point. So what I'm going to do instead is go right, and if they do decide to come this way, I'm able to get up into that little corner hill, and I'm able to shoot down at heavy tanks. So that will be good. But what I was really hoping for is that the heavies went the other way, and I can go in the middle and spot them. That is probably one of my favorite things to do on this map, is I would go right, and I would hope the enemy team would go the other way. So what I would be able to do is spot them when I go towards cap. Now, see that I haven't spotted any of them, and I'm going to make quite a ballsy move here, as I decide to go towards right to their spawn, and I'm going to play really cautious here, as in case that their object 268 is camping, I would be able to spot them. However, I don't spot him, so I continue driving, and I'm going to go to that rock position right in front of me, and what that should do is spot all the enemies coming up to the hill. Now, this is, in my opinion, is one of the most dominant positions on the map. As you can see, I spotted the Jagdpanzer 100 and all the other tanks going up to the hill, and as I fire, I pull back expecting to be spotted, but fortunately, none of the enemy tanks were close enough. Now look at this Jagdpanzer. He is so screwed. Patty Melt's putting some really nice headshots in there, and just before, and Patty Melt makes a really nice blind shot there, finishing off the Jagdpanzer U100. Now I'm going to go out from another spot, and I'm going to pull back into the bush before I fire. Now what this means is I should be able to get away with firing without actually getting spotted myself. Now that is one of the things that you need to learn when active scouting. So what I'm doing here is popping into the bush, hoping for some spots, and if I do spot anything, I'm going to move back first a little bit until I am all the way behind the bush, and then I will fire, as you can see me doing here. I pull back and then I fire, and unfortunately I do get spotted there. However, so how do you know when you're doing it correctly? When you're pulling back, you should not be able to see the actual enemy tank. You should just be able to see the red outline of them, and once that you see that and you fire, you will not be spotted when you fire. And this is what a lot of Leopard drivers do. They YOLO across the map thinking they have all the speed in the world. However, they don't. Unfortunately, I try to shoot HE at the Leopard's rear end, but unfortunately it does not penetrate. However, I'm able to finish him off with my next APCR shell anyway. Now, we are already 2 tanks ahead, and we are in a pretty good position. However, there is an IS-7 in our spawn, and I get a really lucky shot off there. I hit the flat part of his slide and roll really high. Now, this E-75 is caught out of position, however, I do miss my shot. I'm looking at the minimap here, and I see that Patty Melt is in front of 2 heavy tanks, or a heavy tank and the Object 268. But he is in a relatively safe spot, so he does not need support quite yet. Now, as I'm playing, I really want to keep my eye on the minimap the entire time, and I'm still aware that there's an IS-7 in our spawn. However, I see that he has moved, and I'm able to pop a shot to his side, as well as tracking him side on to some of my teammates. Now, I'm focused on this IS-7. Unfortunately, I didn't have a shot there, so I move away. Now, I see that I have a shot on the E-75. However, as you can see, even at mid-ranges, the accuracy of the Patton is not fantastic, as I unfortunately bounce off the side of the E-75's turret as I hit his cupola. Now, the E-75 is crossing the open, giving me easy shots to the side of his turret. And I really want to help Patty here, as he has 2 tanks in front of him. However, I am not able to help, as these guys are not poking out. Now, I fired there. I think I can get the shot off before the E-75 is able to aim and hit me. And I do, in fact, get it off. Now, I see this E-100 here, but I know he's going to pull back before I'm able to come out for a shot, and I don't want to risk anything quite yet, even though we are up for nothing. I thought about switching to heat and possibly hitting the E-100, but he pulled back just in time. Now, see, Patty is running away from the object, and I am hoping I can pull off a nice shot into the IS-7's turret. Now, the reason I shot heat there is because even the side of the IS-7's turret is extremely strong. Now, with APCR at that angle, it really could have bounced, and I didn't want to miss an important kill shot there. So that is exactly why I shot heat. However, unfortunately, while I was turned away, Patty was not able to get away from the object 268, and he goes down. The ISU puts a nice shot into the E100, and I get one more shot into the object before he is taken down by my team. And that is the game. And in my opinion, I really maximize the strengths of the Patton, which are its gun depression as well its extremely good view range. Now that was a 5k damage game. Unfortunately, the show lag isn't really showing you the end screen, but I think that was 5k damage as well as 2k spotting, giving me a pretty good XP factor. I think that was a first class game as well. Really sorry about the show lag. This is just how it goes, but that was quite a good example of how to play the Patton, and I did do some pretty nice bush work there that maybe you guys can take advantage in your Pattons as well. Now, I also made 70k credits that game as I fired only one heat round, and I made most of my shots count. Now, as you can see here is the end screen. 4k damage, 2k spotting, patrol duty, as well as a scout medal. Look at that, I just destroyed that Jagdpanzer Z100 with 1k spotting on that guy alone. I think I spotted 5 or 6 of the enemy, so that was a really good result. So I just realized that I have a 15-minute cap on my video, so I will have the other two gameplays in part 2 of the review. Please look forward to that one.